This episode is brought to you by Mortgage Workflow Partners and the Mastering Encompass series, both for users as well as administrators. You can find out all the information about it over at masterengencompass.com. Also, if you'd like to check out what we're doing on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel using the @MasteringEncompass handle. And make sure you stay up to date on all the information, not just with podcasts, but also video content that we bring to you as often as possible. Now let's get on to the episode. Hi, everyone. Larry Bailey, Mortgage Workflow Partners. It's August 31st. I hope you caught the blue moon. I don't know how it was in your area. I'm in southern New Jersey, and it was remarkable. It was the best ever. Actually, I didn't see it, so I have no idea what it looked like. I was busy working last night. I was working on stuff, and so I didn't get to go see it. I think I went to bed around midnight. So we meet every Tuesday and Thursday. Today's Thursday, so we're meeting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. Chris, you gotta know when the full moons are because people are crazy. They're friggin' nuts, especially in North Jersey driving. Or Staten. Well, that's always the case. I'm in South Jersey. Anyway, today is the wrap up for Partner Appreciation Month. It's the 31st of August, 2023. Thanks everybody for coming to this. Must not have had any teachers. Exactly. And so we meet as a community because we want to get together and ask questions. I know Brett actually had a question in the community. I figured maybe we talk through it. Brett, if you're here, it looks like you're not. So we're not going to talk about. Can't talk to you. But make sure that you're always at least listening to the podcast for the catch-ups in case you missed this. If you're watching this on replay on anywhere besides mortgage.community, you're going to get cut off at around the 5-minute mark, and that sucks. But we want you to get over to the mortgage community and participate. That's the whole point, is participation. Right, Sharon? Right, Elena? So today's event's all about revisiting the folks that we met with, our partners that we appreciate, mostly because every partner focuses on something specific. I would love to hear from anyone here that is working with one of our partners. Let's air the laundry. Any good experiences, bad experiences, things that were learned from. I know Kim actually was saying she's in the middle of implementing, Kim Connolly, sorry, is in the middle of implementing big POS. So I definitely want to hear about that. I also know that a client of mine, I don't know if John's on here today. No. So John with First Signature is implementing Bullseye right now. And so I'm super excited to see them because they were paying $3,500 a month for Power BI. And Bullseye is not $3,500 a month. It's $700 a month for the entire company. So super excited about that. Angela, we always have time to ask questions. So I'm going to invite you to the stage. If you can't come to the stage, go ahead and use a chat. But definitely talk about Input Form Builder if you want. And Elena wants to know if any lender dream implementation. I don't know if they're dreaming implementation, Elena. That's kind of weird. Although I do sometimes dream about work, which is really crappy. My wife yells at me for that, but it is what it is. After 30 years, you think she would know better. You can elaborate? Well, then come to flip on stage. Wait, we got to hear. I got to hear about Elena's dream of implementation. Hang on a second. Not that you're less important, Angela, but I'm always interested in dreams. Are you okay with that, Angela, if we hear Elena's dream first?
No, absolutely.
Okay, Elena, you got us teased. What's your dream? Let's hear it.
Oh, no. I want to know if anyone has had an implementation with a vendor that was just so great and so smooth and how they did it.
Yeah, well, that's what all of my clients tell me after we're done implementing them in Encompass. They're like, that was a dream, yes, ever.
That was a dream?
They've actually never said that.
I don't think anyone's ever said that about implementing Encompass.
Although I will tell you that, so we just rolled off Webster 5-cent savings. So, on the call today, where is she? Kayla down there is your admin superstar down there, learning everything about Encompass from nothing, which is great. But if anyone ever wants to, if anybody ever wants to hear, again, if you're ever in a spot where you're thinking about or hearing some friend implementing Encompass and you want to get the 411 as far as what to try to avoid, let me know. So I don't know. Looks like nobody has any feedback.
Angela, you were dark.
I am. I apologize. I can't show my face today.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's okay. Why are you being like that, Elena? Not everybody wants to be on camera.
That's fine.
However,
Sure.
next time I promise.
You got it. Hey, so this is the 5-minute mark, and if you're interested in finding out what Angela's question is about Input Form Builder and how we're going to solve for it, get over to mortgage.community and check it out. So what do you got, Angela?
All right. So I am operating on Microsoft Windows 10 Pro. And for the longest time, the Input Form Builder building out screens has been really hard, but it's gotten even worse. A couple of years ago, I learned that the Input Form Builder was not working well with Windows. And it seems to be getting worse for me. And so what happens is, let's say I click on a control. Let's say, any kind of control at all. Let's say a group box or something. And I want to take that group box on the right side and just stretch it out to make it longer, to make it wider, I should say. Okay. What it's doing is it takes the right side of that box, it jumps to the left. And so then I have to pull it back to where it was, then go further to make it wider. Now I'm off the screen, and I have to sometimes, depending on how wide the box, the control is, I actually can't even make it that as wide as I need it to, because the containers, the box around it that gives its focus, it jumps all over the place. I can't line anything up. And
so walk me through this. Is so for those that have never had horrible experiences in Input Form Builder, God bless you, you're awesome. And the good news is with web-based Input Form Builder, it's better in terms of aligning things because you don't have this weirdness with some machines, but it is to be dealt with. Now I'm on Windows 11. And
I'm wondering if that could be an issue. Seriously, and Jody, I think you're right. I like to use the size also, but even when I do that, it's still a little clunky, and I don't always want to guess at what those size numbers are.
So it's really important. I want to make sure we put it up on screen here. So Angela, you said group box or category box?
So you can do both. I have a category box, and then I have a group box as the child within it.
Yeah. So here's my vibe, and I don't know if anybody else agrees with this. Kevin, I really didn't have any. Katie takes my advice that I always give, or uses my advice I always give, which is I don't like working with category and group boxes, and there's really no value other than this stupid little header thing.
Yes.
Because you can't drag and drop, and you can recreate this. I recreate this a lot with just some standard controls that you can draw. You can basically take this and do whatever you want. But Candace, Katie, Larry, and probably other people, anytime that you can use a panel, I'm always going to use a panel to make sure. I'll tell you what I do a lot when I'm working with this. Anybody else do this? I'll go, if I want to mess with this control, I'll grab this by accident.
Yes.
It's like, come on, seriously. So, I can tell you, I know a lot of folks who spend all day in Input Form Builder. So maybe you want to think about this, Angela. Don't use this. Really become comfortable using position and size over here.
And what Brian's saying over in the chat, he's right. The size won't always give me exactly what I'm typing in.
Yeah, like doing this kind of changes it, but then sometimes it doesn't. And how these margin things are they're not always there.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes it'll jump up. I've had this happen. You know, like I'll come in and try to fix somebody else's input form, and it looks like garbage on the screen because they're using category and group boxes.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think everybody's on the same page. Are you forced to use them, Angela?
Absolutely not. It's completely my decision whether I want to use them or not. Can anybody suggest using a panel, but then just kind of making it a little bit prettier?
Well, what do you mean by
The group box is really pretty.
Oh, you mean like this thing? You want to have like a header?
I want a header. I want a little color, some lines, that kind of thing.
So use your text box, right? And you can draw your text box, right? And you can kind of do whatever you want here.
Okay.
And then you can color that. So let's say you want to have a pretty color of orange there. And then you can throw your label right over top. And you can do your label. Let's say you don't want to do a transparent. You want to do, four color. You want to do, instead of black, you want to do purple because that looks good. All that stuff. So yeah, just like Amy's talking about, use the border.
Yeah.
You know, you can use your buttons over here, but not make them enabled, right? So you can kind of play with these controls if you like that kind of a look.
Yes.
Lay it.
This is great.
Now you have something that you can do whatever the heck you want. And the best part is if you build out, like, I don't know if anybody else does this, but if I'm building out like a comparison form or something that I'm going to use multiple places, I'll build it onto a panel, and then I can actually grab this whole panel, and then I can not do that. I can paste it over here. So now I've got side by side with everything lined up.
One question. So using the group boxes and the combo box and all of that, I can do, you know, like parent-child relationship, so that when I click on the parent, you know, everything comes with it, whether I'm scrolling to the left or the right, or positioning it to the right or the left or whatever. Does it work the same way? And I think it does.
Yeah. So you just come over here. And if anybody, by the way, if anybody else, I know you guys are typing, which is great. If anybody wants to jump on stage, we've got space for 9 of us on this, if anybody wants to talk through it. But yeah, you can come over here, and you can now, you know, you can nest it as much as you want. So
that is perfect. Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate this, because it's going to really help me speed up what I'm doing.
Yeah, and so like Elena says, you know, the colors, you can focus your colors up in here in RGB format. But remember, you can also use system colors over here. So if you're, you know, if you're doing web-based colors, names or system colors or RGB code. The one thing I will tell you though, don't get fooled into thinking these custom colors stick. Because as soon as you leave, like let's say you build out a, if I could do this right, let's say I want to do 255, 244, 15. If I wanted to grab that and throw that into this custom, it's not going to stick.
Right.
So, it doesn't work. Yeah, Candace hates that. Elena does marking all the time. She keeps a sticky note on her screen with
I have it legitimately. These are my hex codes.
That's perfect.
But yeah, RGB is a great format, and like we have a brand identity guide, so your marketing team actually should be able to provide you that.
I do have that. Yes. Okay, and I used those today. I just needed a little help with this using the panel, and this is I think is really going to solve the problem. So, thank you guys.
Does anybody want to jump on stage and add anything else? I know, Brian, you had a ton of feedback, so thank you. Amy, you too. Candace. Amy says, hey, I just had a thought. I should create some basic templates. Yeah, I can tell you that. Like, you know, I don't really get into it that much, but if you're constantly going in and creating input forms, or businesses constantly regenerating, rather than try to recreate the wheel, you could create your style sheet. Like in marketing, it's called the style sheet. So you can create your style sheet of your colors and your objects, and just always use that as a copy paste. Like that I've done. I don't know if anybody else has done that.
I exclusively do that for all of our marketing content.
Yeah. You gotta have a style sheet. Yeah, it's called the style sheet in marketing.
I can actually I can share ours if you'd like.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Yeah.
Real quick here. So
yeah,
we
Candace,
have,
so
we
like
have
not
a few things.
Mhm.
So this is our brand identity guide. So this is what we use. So you'll see all of our hex colors, how the color codes are supposed to be used.
Perfect. Yes.
It talks
Excellent.
about like the sextant and all that stuff. And then we have in Canva, they keep let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
the brand, yeah, the brand thing.
If any of you have not used Canva and you have to create any asset, by the way, it's free to use and it's amazing. Even if you need to create like birthday parties, like invites, it's great. But you can have
awesome. Okay.
like in the Canva paid version, you have your brand kit. So like it has all my logos, all of my colors, my fonts, and you can even add like photos, graphics, icons. They've recently added these as well. If anyone ever wants to know anything about Canva, I know so much. I'm
There you
happy.
And so in Input Form Builder, again, it's not a traditional thought process, but none of us are traditional people. So you could create a style sheet input form that guides your business on what's been used. And then that way you're not always recreating the wheel. You can just say, hey, which one do you want to copy from? And it keeps things consistent. I know a lot of folks on here don't jump around from company to company, but I do because I support multiple companies, and the distinction between one company and another, or one admin and another, is like usually night and day. And it sucks for the users, right? The people have to use Encompass constantly in the same organization to have different input forms look and feel completely different is not exactly conducive to ease of use.
Yeah.
So great topic, Angela. Thank you for that question.
You bet.
Thank you. And thanks to everybody for kicking up those notes. Is anybody else? I know this entire conversation has been completely dominated by Elena because she doesn't just know when to like pause. But you know,
I'm sorry.
Yes, you know I'm teasing. Does anybody else have any questions? Again, community call. Pre-release notes went up yesterday. 23.3 is coming out. A lot of updates. I did like a 2 minute, that wasn't 2 minutes, like a 7 minute spiel on that. I'm going to be doing a complete walkthrough. Supposedly the release notes, like the full release notes, will be out in the next few weeks, 2 weeks, hopefully. I'm going to do a walkthrough of the desktop version, completely separated from the web version, because it's time to do that. And then of course, TPO Connect and Consumer Connect has updates too. 544. It was 544. Thank you, Candace. Thank you. And I'm still working on the audio. I don't know if sometimes the audio sucks. It's Loom, and I'm fighting with them because I know, sometimes the audio comes across crappy. So let's talk about partners. Let's talk about fees. So Elena,
I can leave. I was about to say that. I was like, should I leave you?
I don't. You're welcome to stay. So Elena, had you ever worked? I'll ask you as a vendor, right? So have you worked with any of the other folks that we had on as partners that we were appreciating?
Ooh. I've interacted, I think, with most of them in the past. Awesome Tech, we've collaborated before. Big POS we're talking to and in preliminary integration conversations and all of that. Anytime a new POS or LOS enters the market, we look at them. So if you're ever looking at a new LOS or POS, like I've probably talked to them. So I'm happy to help with that. Our relationships are very different, I think, to how lenders interact with vendors, because there's kind of that same vibe as you guys have when you're alone. Like, you can have conversations and collaborate in different and unique ways, which is fun.
Cool. All right. Does anybody else want to speak about any interactions with any partners that you've worked with that we showed our appreciation for this month? We had Awesome Technologies. Just as a recap, we had, what's that?
I'm going to run away from you.
See ya. Bye. So we had Awesome Technologies come on at the beginning of the month. Obviously, we're workflow partners, but it's awkward to talk about yourself that way. I don't want to self-promote too heavily. But ATI has a ton of stuff, and I'm really working with ATI very, very closely to bring out more products. again, I know Jody, you're here still, right? So where are you? You're somewhere. You were here. There you are. So again, if you're using Power BI and that's your jam, and you need some help, I would absolutely encourage you to get with Jody. But for those that either can't afford Power BI or either can't continue with it or don't want to, or those kinds of things, I'm telling you now, you got to get a check out on Bullseye. Also, ATI has eCompensate. So if you're the kind of thing where you need commission-based software where your folks are getting driven nuts because of LO comp plans, they've got eCompensate. Hi, Jody. And then most importantly, plugins. It's her subscription service where it's an all-you-can-eat subscription service at the most cost-effective level, because it's got $5.99 and then $6 per closed loan, max cap $1,500. Nobody else is doing that out there. So that's ATI. And then the most important thing with them is you can pick up the phone and call or email and get things customized. After that, then we met with who we meet with after that. We met with Mace Innovations. We met with, so if you haven't seen that replay on workflow, you need to see it, because it is a complete novel way to manage the way that your teams interact with loan files in the desktop client. It is by far, to me, the slickest way to get users to understand what still has to be done or what is not right with the loan file. So I don't know if anybody on here has had a chance to get with Mace on a demo, on a personal demo, or seen it in live production, but it is as good as the hype, honestly. Beth, yeah, give feedback, right? I mean, Mace is always going to want feedback. Just like I would always want feedback to the community for other people. If you get a good vibe, great. If you don't get a good vibe, explain why. And explain why you even got a good vibe, like if it works or if it doesn't work. So we had Mace out, we had Big POS. So, again, the reason why I see value in these partners is because they have a unique way of addressing solutions. So the reason why the Big POS is so important is because it leverages Encompass natively, meaning that there's no data anywhere else. They're using APIs straight up. And then as you move into eClose, there's no break in that workflow. With other providers, they force you into their environment, which again is counterintuitive to the reason why you have Encompass. Encompass is meant to be your entire system of record. Processing manager until yes, this would be cool. Candace, you're talking about, sorry, Candace, don't know what you're talking about. For workflow, yeah. And that's the thing. I've been working with Mace now. We got together in a closer relationship in March with the ICE convention, and we literally were right next to each other for 3 days. And I got to see it, and I know there's value in it, but the hard part is because it's so different. It's hard. Like, it's no big deal to put like a shiny widget in there to make something automated, but to completely change where you work out of, it's hard for a lot of people to deal with that. So I get it. And Mace gets it too. But, for the companies that are struggling to, like, they're done with the shiny widgets and they're done with the custom input forms and they're done with the checklists and they're done with the cures, a workflow product is definitely one to see if it fits for you. Nothing bans vendors more than working, but yeah, I know, right? It was fun. So we had that, and then we rounded out obviously with Lodestar. We had them join us, and Elena again is if you're not sure about why you need to have a vendor who provides fees to your Encompass and rep and warrants those fees, then you haven't really explored it. I can tell you that you can build as an admin or as a business owner, you can build all you want natively into Encompass, but you're always having to maintenance it. And to pay what Lodestar charges, the value is probably 10x, if not more. because you can make sure it's always done. And if a business wants to go into a new state, like I had a bank who's going into Florida, we're 3 months into this project now, and and we automated the title fees part, but there's still a challenge where we're pretty sure that that's not right, because the fees I bring up for Florida are different than what the attorney's charging, because they can charge whatever they want. And so it's hard. It's hard. So to involve someone like Lodestar to make sure that it's not hard is really important. And I think I don't know if I left anybody out, but you know, I do want you as admins always to be searching and learning. So on that topic, I did put in the community asking for some volunteers, some sacrificial volunteers to go through this test. We had 10 or more folks say yes, and it's a tough test, mostly because I force you to be on screen. You can't leave the screen and go search for something. It's literally either you know it or you don't. And the wording is tricky. It's very, very tricky. And the truth of it is, these questions are coming straight from these questions are coming straight from the ICE pre-certification exam. So I didn't make them up. It's certainly possible I got some of the correct answers wrong. So Katie and Amy and I are going to go through that tomorrow to make sure we get it right. But when I launch this full test, it's going to be the purpose of this, and it's already been cleared with ICE. I've got a great relationship with ICE, and we want to make sure that we're always pushing everybody forward in education and understanding. And the idea is this it's going to be a 100-question test, and it's going to be 60 minutes, and it's going to have a knowledge check from your fundamentals up to your top levels of what you should know as a general Encompass person. This is meant to really remind us all that we all have to keep learning. This is also this is going to be a shout out at the companies who are not even considering an interview for a candidate because they don't have a certification issued by any one particular company for Encompass platform. That is, to me, inappropriate and not a gatekeeper. I think it's an opportunity for us as a community to all step back and say, listen, if I have a certification on next to my name, I think that's great. But that doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be the best fit for your company. So what I always encourage folks is make sure that you're always pushing yourself on learning and finding out what your business needs to succeed, to stay ahead of that curve. That's why I always want you to be the best voice in the room when it comes to planning what goes into your Encompass platform. But then mostly if companies are looking to expand, that they hear from folks on how those folks are going to help them. And that comes from skills. It comes from skills. So, hey, listen, on that note, in the Nebraska, in the Omaha, Nebraska community, the little sub community that's run by Katie and Amy, if you're part of that, they're getting together at an event, and kudos. Thank you very much for doing that. That's one of the biggest points of having the mortgage community is to get together and collaborate, whether that's live or whether that's virtual. And so we've got other regionals. If you're in an area that doesn't have a regional and you want to become the advocate for that area, because there's folks that would love to get together and just collaborate in a place together because you're local, let me know. Let me know. Or fly. It's not that far. So Philadelphia, Elaine and I have to get together and firm up on Philadelphia, because I want to do my plan for Philadelphia is to do once a month meeting, casual thing, probably in the morning, maybe for breakfast or whatever, and get folks together from the industry in that area. So if you need any help, if you to organize anything like that regionally, or if you are interested in spearheading that, please let me know. Yeah, I know, Joe. You're only an hour from Philly. There's Joe. Joe's on chat. Where were you earlier, man? I was talking good stuff about you. Maybe with you. I don't know. Were you there? Anyway, any questions? I know we're kind of wrapping up here. It's the last day of the month, last minute of today's piece. Oh, next month. Let's talk about September. So September, we're coming back. September, we're going to be talking all about settings. I'm going to start getting into having a topic of settings for each meeting. So that'll give us something to focus on for conversation. And starting with October, I'm going to be doing 23.3 live admin training. More announcements to come with that. So basically, I'm going to be teaching live settings straight through from top to bottom for 23.3 because there is just so much that's changed. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And I don't see any questions. So I guess that's it. That's it, gang. Any other details? Appreciate you coming. As always, it's been a blast to see the community grow as it has, and I look forward to seeing it continue to grow. So please be ambassadors. I owe Elena $10 because she got 2 people referred. So she's got money coming her way, and for others that have money coming in, I have to run the report for August. I'm sure there's other ambassadors out there, probably Amy. She's probably talking to everybody. I think I owe her a whole bunch. So thank you, gang. Have a great rest of your day. Amy, Katie, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll send you the invite. Maybe we'll do it live. I don't know. We'll figure that out. See you guys. Have a great rest of your day.